Hi, my friends. We're here to talk about positive shifts and resolutions at this point in time in the year specifically. And while we can make significant changes within our lives at any point in the year or at any moment in any particular day for that matter, should we choose to, it is of tradition to make a grander and more pointedly specific aim in doing so at this point in the year by most people. Within the fact that we can make such changes and take on such resolutions, positive shifts, and commitments at any point in time, there is an added benefit of doing so, in our culture anyway, as this point of the year is coming to an end, going into when a new one is beginning. And I'm going to mention what that added bonus is a little later in this video. In addition to that, and in addition to the resolution tips I have coming up ahead for you, I have a special bonus resolution idea that I'm incredibly excited to share with you because I've used it at points in my own life, and when I have, I've made tremendous upward shifts repeatedly. In fact, it's one of my resolutions this year to be more mindful of doing this even more of the time than I have in the past, because I have gained tremendous results with this whenever I've done this, and it's something that anyone can do, and it's something that benefits anyone who will take this on, regardless of what is going on in your life and regardless of the improvements that you would like to realize in your life experience. It helps in all areas, and anyone can utilize this. So that also is coming up ahead. This video is also packed with helpful tips that can truly make a difference for you or for anyone, and each tip actually can make the other tips work even more strongly. So my advice would be, if you really want to make a positive shift and positive differences in your new year this year, stay here and give this video your full attention, meaning maybe don't check out your texts or anything else, and do your best not to let your mind wander, because every time we let our minds wander, we miss what is going on around us, we miss what people might be saying. So if you really want to have an impactful new year to the fullest of your ability, check out these tips. I believe they will be of help to you if you choose to utilize them. They have all benefited me tremendously. First thing that I do is I strive to become clear on things that continuously come up and kind of irk me or bother me, and on the other side, things that continuously come up that seem exciting. So, but maybe they're not really in my life yet, or maybe they're a little bit in my life, and maybe I'm, just looking for the inspirations as guideposts as to which way to go. So I don't let myself think about these things too much, because thinking our way through things, to things, and out of things doesn't usually really work all that well. If we can actually calm our minds and simply just be in a relaxed place, and we can most easily do that by focusing on things that we enjoy or that we're grateful for, or at least at ease about, so that we're in a calmer mental place. From there, more of these realizations will surface up and make it clearer to us which things maybe need a little attention of streamlining out of our lives, and which things maybe we should be pointing toward and focusing on that will truly benefit us and that we will enjoy. In either case, whether I've honed in on something that repeatedly keeps getting my attention, whether it's a glimmer inside or a little thought that just kind of pops and then I feel something a little bit like in response. And because some things might make us feel that way, but it just might be a 1 or a 2 off thing, and they come and they go, and it's just no big deal. Other things may kind of continue to sort of come up. Now, I don't notice these for the purpose of diving into that and then feeling worse about it and getting a whole bunch of thoughts about it, which then make me feel worse and worse and worse and worse. No, I just sort of notice it lightly, while mainly keeping my thoughts focused on what I'm doing in a day. If you keep your thoughts focused on what you're doing, then you're staying more in action rather than being lost in thought. And when our thoughts are calmer, then more of that intuitive, truthful kind of information that's right for us begins to come forth in a more abundant manner. When we've got all kinds of thoughts going on, then those intuitions have a harder time coming through, if they can come through at all. So what I do is, when I notice either an excitement about something in an area that keeps happening, or something that is just not resonating for me and it keeps happening over and over and over again, at that point I start to just think lightly, okay, there's something going on here, this isn't working. Oh, and there's something going on here, this continues to seem exciting. So maybe this is a direction I need to put more time to, and maybe this is an area I either need to turn my attention away from if possible, or I may need to take an action here to clear some of this out of my existence, out of my life experience. Or maybe there is no action I can take here right now. And if that's the case, then simply turning my focus as much of the time as possible to positive things, things that float my boat, things that make me feel happy, excited, and elated, will raise my vibration, and then this negative stuff will tend to, at some point, fall away. So the way, again, to determine which of these actions, or, well, I guess even not doing something to cut it away is still an action. If you're just turning your attention to the positive, it's still an action of doing that. The clarity with which path to choose on even that also comes from just being calm, calming the mind, calming the thoughts as much as we can. And we only have to start shifting them a little bit, and we already will start to realize more and more positive benefits in our outer experience. And then the more we fine tune it, the better the outer experience becomes. But utilizing the glimmers that come repeatedly on both sides is a way that I actually fine tune with more clarity which things are really things that I need to really cut away in one way or another, or gravitate toward in one way or another, versus the one-off glimmers of excitement, like, oh, this shiny thing got my attention and I think it's great and I think I want to go for it, but then it's not. Or the thing that irritated me once or twice, if I allow myself to get caught in a spiral of a loop of negative thoughts, then I can make that inside myself bigger than it actually really is. So the key again here is to simply not focus your thought in trying to figure it out, but relax your thoughts away by actually keeping your attention on pleasant tasks that you're doing, or even if it's just focusing on things that support you, or looking at the sky and noticing it's pretty, noticing anything in your life or in your home environment that support you, that can just elicit from you a sense of gratitude or a sense of just relaxation, to where you're just not really thinking too much either way. And then to carry forth with your tasks in this calmer state of mind, because this allows for these glimmers to start coming up. The glimmers that reflect the real truth of what would really benefit you the most. And from there, then to calmly either choose to cut something away if you can, turn your attention away from it if that's better, or if that's better for at least right now, if no action is clear to take. An action step may become revealed later, but maybe at first it's just to simply turn your attention toward something pleasant. And in relation to adding more pleasant things to your life, let's say there's something that really floats your boat and you want to do more of it. Let's say you even want to do hours of it a day, or even make it a main part of your life. Or even if it's something you want to do for a half hour or an hour, but you don't see how you possibly can do it to the full extent that you're envisioning yet. Put in as much attention and effort and action into it as you can, even if it's just for a few moments here or there. I would strive to carve out as much time as you possibly can, and genuinely take an honest look at what you're filling your time with. If some of it really is some extra fat that you can carve away to make room for something that will truly benefit you, then it's worth it to do that. Even if you think you enjoy that other thing, you have to kind of assess what would you enjoy more. But even if you can spend a few minutes on this thing that really floats your boat, and then really milk how grateful and appreciative you feel for the time you were able to spend doing it, without going into thoughts after that of, oh, but I wish I could do it more. When I feel so sad, I can't do it more. Oh, I like that, but I just wish I could do it all day and it's so disappointing. Don't go there. If you just will say, oh, wow, it felt so good to do it for that 5 minutes or for that half hour. And like, I really love that. It's so wonderful. Like, I'm so happy when I do that. If you just kind of keep it there and don't think so much about the time, the little time you could versus the big time you couldn't, don't go there. Leave it in the happy place, but keep putting your energy happily, joyously, and gratefully there a little bit every day, and your attention and focus to it being there will make it expand. And before you know it, you will be able to do it more and more and more of your time. Trust me, I lived it this way. It works. So this process of looking at the things that keep bugging you versus the things that keep calling you for inspiration, whether you've already been working on those things a little bit and other things about it are calling you forward, or if you haven't started to work in it yet, but the idea of it keeps calling you forward. These are the two main ways I start to identify where I want to make shifts for the betterment of my life. Now, this process in and of itself can be a resolution. It can be a resolution to do this all the time, to become more present. You can just commit to that in your mind, saying, this is my commitment. My commitment is that I'm going to become more and more and more aware of this. And I'm going to notice it more. And I'm going to act on it to the best of my ability, whether that action looks like an outward action and a step taken, or whether that action looks like simply relaxing and calming my mind and waiting for more clarity to emerge. So this in and of itself is an incredible practice and can be a resolution. And doing this can help you get clear about some of the changes that you start to realize would benefit you, and then those things can then become your resolutions. So I've actually worked with this both ways. One is my commitment to do this always, to continuously be expanding in ways in my life that will bring more and more joy and fulfillment to me and to those around me. And the other way is to then be able to make suitable commitments and resolutions to the findings that I discover through utilizing it. So it's kind of a 2-in-1 thing, or you can use it one way or the other, depending on what resonates most for you. The second resolution tip is commit to adding things to your life that relax you, nourish you, and expand you. Nourishment might be in terms of food, but also might be more about enriching yourself as a person, which is incredibly important. Relaxation and joy, especially when we do things for ourselves on a regular basis that give us expanding and deepening relaxation and ever-expanding joy, have been shown in studies to improve our mental clarity, to improve overall physical health, to prevent the signs of aging or at least slow it down. Studies have also shown that these add to our well-being, longevity, and mental clarity and emotional stability. And these help us in every area of our lives, including our relationships with other people and the people who depend on us and that we interact with. Many people often feel guilty taking time for themselves to do things that are relaxing and enjoyable and that just really fulfill them. And so many people that I've known and that I've seen throughout me in my entire life feel so guilty, like they're doing something wrong when they take time for themselves in this way, or to care for themselves through exercise or meditation or just painting or anything that they just love and want to do. And the sad thing about this is that we actually can be more of benefit to those we love, to the very people that we might feel guilty or that we might feel bad that we're somehow slighting by taking such time for ourselves. But in reality, we can be there for them in better and more enjoyable ways, ways that they'll enjoy more if we're giving that care to ourselves. First of all, if you just think about your own health and longevity, well, you'll probably be around for people longer, or you'll be in a healthy state rather than a sickly state which then could stress them out down the road if that should happen to you. Another thing is that it's always more enjoyable to be around people that are in a great space, that are in a happy mood and an enjoyable mood, and are grateful for things that are going on in their life. There's so much more in reality that you can give to the other people around you by taking care of yourself first, or at least a little bit within each day, but on a consistent basis, so that it grows and compounds upon each other. Whatever you do for relaxation and replenishment of yourself, if you do a little bit each day, the results you get on day one, while you may notice some results, they're going to be maybe this big compared to this big on day 5 or 10 or 20 or 30. It just keeps going. And as you get into better and better spaces, things in your life start to improve, and then you're radiating that, and those people are being impacted by that, and it's improving their life. So you're not being selfish at all by taking time for yourself. I'm not saying exclude everybody to the point you don't think of anybody. No, but people tend to be, a lot of times, not all the time, not all people, but some people can be just one side too extreme or the other too extreme, and neither way really works. We need to find the middle point, but also taking care of ourselves, which allows for us to relax and allows for that inner clarity to come forth. When people really truly do need our help, we'll be more clear on even assessing if that's actually factual and what the right course of action for the situation would really truly be. When it is genuinely a point for us to help someone, we'll be inspired into that action. The action we take will genuinely benefit that person, and it will not necessarily feel taxing to us. It probably won't feel taxing to us. When we're not in the right alignment and we're feeling guilty about every little thing, and we feel like we have to do all this stuff for people, and we're being depleted, at least I've noticed in my life, when I've taken action to help people, when I have felt that way, I've seen consistently that the help I thought I was giving didn't serve them at all. It really didn't help them, and I was left missing something. I was left losing out on something important in my life. When I have genuinely been inspired to help, and the time was right, and the right action was clear to me, it was not taxing on me, I did not experience any true loss in my life. I mean, yes, I may have given them a little of my time, but I didn't lose out on anything for it. And it genuinely did result in something that I could visibly see that did serve them. So I invite you to please take a look at this. If you are one of those people that are feeling so guilty about doing things for yourself, think about what has been said here, because this is a conditioning that has been passed down to a lot of people. And the people that passed it down to us, well, they felt this way too, and it was passed down to them, so it wasn't exactly their fault. But we need to be able to start to recognize that this has been happening. And like I said, I've seen two main groups: those who just don't give a rat's freaking ass, and those who just care way too much. And both ways are too extreme on both sides, and they don't really work for anyone around them or for themselves in the most ideal way. When we can find a more centered point and our true inspirations are coming forth, and because we've been able to take time and relax, or we've made the time to relax and replenish ourselves, all of these things become much more and more and more clear. To the degree we relax and calm and learn to recognize the intuitions that come forth, they become more and more and more clear and strong as time then goes on. So what I've shared here in this second point also blends well with the first point. When they go together, they enhance each other and make each other better. Number 3,